Policies 2115 and 1710, Student Non-Discrimination and Prevention of Harassment. The Washington County School District promotes an atmosphere of trust, respect, and learning, free of bias, prejudice, and harassment in all its educational programs, including extracurricular activities and athletics. The district is resolute in its determination to enforce this policy by investigating complaints and taking appropriate action when violations are identified. In accordance with the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Washington County School District does not discriminate on the basis of race, color, national origin, sex, disability, gender identity, sexual orientation, religious affiliation, age, pregnancy, parental or marital status in its programs and activities. Non-discrimination applies to student admission, treatment, and access to all district programs. Individuals who have inquiries are requesting accommodations or are alleging violations regarding the non-discrimination policies, including Title II, Title VI, Title IX, Section 504, this policy, or who are requesting accommodation, may contact the designated school representative or the Director of Student Services using the information provided below. For the purposes of this training, please note the following definitions. Discrimination. Discrimination is the unequal treatment of persons based on any characteristic protected by law. Gender identity. A person's gender identity can be shown by providing evidence, including but not limited to medical history, care, or treatment of the gender identity, consistent and uniform assertion of the gender identity, or other evidence that the gender identity is sincerely held and part of the person's core identity and not being asserted for an improper purpose. Grievance. A grievance is an assertion, claim, or complaint that a particular set of rules has been violated. It may involve systemic discrimination involving a regulation, policy, practice, a disagreement over the meaning of such, or a dispute over facts. Harassment. Harassment is a form of discrimination involving unwelcome conduct based on certain characteristics. Does not have to include intent to harm. It may include subtle actions on the part of the perpetrator to put down the victim. Harassment may be student to student, staff to student, staff to staff, student to staff, or by third parties. Harassment may be verbal, nonverbal, written, or physical conduct that denigrates or shows hostility or aversion toward an individual. Gender-based harassment. Gender-based harassment is also a form of sex-based harassment and refers to unwelcome conduct based on an individual's actual or perceived sex, including harassment based on gender identity or nonconformity with sex stereotypes, and not necessarily involving conduct of a sexual nature. Hostile environment. When conduct is sufficiently severe, pervasive, or persistent that it creates an intimidating, threatening, abusive environment, or interferes with the educational environment so as to limit a student's ability to participate in or benefit from services, activities, or opportunities offered by a school. Sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is unwelcome conduct of a sexual nature that has the effect of depriving victims of access to the educational opportunities or benefits provided by the school. Quid pro quo sexual harassment occurs if a student or staff member directly or indirectly requires a student to submit to sexual conduct in order to participate in a program or activity, or if a faculty, staff, or student requires sexual conduct as the basis for an educational decision. Sexual harassment can take many forms and may include verbal, nonverbal, and physical harassment. Retaliation. Retaliation is unwanted conduct toward a person for reporting discrimination or harassment. Any unwelcome conduct, form of sanction, or adverse treatment, including but not limited to intimidation, reprisal, or harassment of an individual for reporting discrimination or harassment, filing a complaint alleging a violation, participated in an investigation, hearing, or proceeding, or advocated for others' rights. The district encourages the prompt reporting of all perceived incidents of discrimination or harassment to the Director of Student Services or your administrator or supervisor so that rapid and constructive action can be taken before relationships become irreparably strained. Early reporting and intervention have proven to be the most effective method of resolving actual or perceived incidents of harassment and discrimination. Individuals who believe they have been the victims of conduct prohibited by this policy or believe they have witnessed such conduct should report their concerns with their administration or the Director of Student Services. Any employee who receives a report of harassment, discrimination, or retaliation, or who has reasonable cause to believe that a student may have been sexually or physically abused must report the incident to the school principal, designated administrator or supervisor, or Director of Student Services. Parents or other community members are also asked to promptly report concerns. During the complaint process, the confidentiality of the information received, the privacy of the individuals involved, and the wishes of the complaining person will be protected to as great a degree as is possible. The expressed wishes of the complaining person for confidentiality will be considered in the context of the district's legal obligation to act on the charge and the right of the charged party to obtain information. Any reported allegations of harassment, discrimination, or retaliation will be investigated promptly in accordance with the district's grievance procedures. Grievance procedure. The intent of the investigation process is to provide a prompt and equitable resolution of student complaints alleging any form of discrimination. There are 3 major stages of the complaint process. 1. The school will conduct a full investigation of the complaint. 2. Both parties receive a response regarding the outcome of the complaint. And 3. The parties may file an appeal, if applicable. Additional information regarding how to file a formal grievance may be found at procedure.washk12.org/policy/2000/2115. Questions regarding Policy 2115 or 1710 may be directed to Michael Lee in the Human Resources Department. 3510. Bullying and hazing. The purpose of this policy is to eliminate bullying and hazing by and against the students and employees of the Washington County School District, to provide clear standards, and to create a safe and accessible reporting process for victims of bullying and hazing. Students and employees who believe they are subjects of bullying or hazing, if sexual in nature, should follow the procedures outlined in District Policy 1420. Any other alleged bullying that is believed to be a violation of this policy must be remedied by following District Policy 1720. Individuals who believe their civil rights have been violated should follow the procedures outlined in District Policy 1710. The Washington County School District is committed to protecting its students, employees, and school guests from all types of bullying or harassment. All students, employees, or guests are entitled to a safe, equitable, and harassment-free school experience. Bullying or harassment in any form will not be tolerated and shall be just cause for disciplinary action. For the purposes of this training, please note the following definitions. Bullying. Bullying is aggressive behavior that is intentional and involves an imbalance of power or strength. A person is bullied or victimized when he or she is exposed repeatedly and over time to negative actions. Bullying means intentionally or knowingly committing an act that endangers the physical and or emotional health or safety of a school district employee or student, including threats. Involves physically obstructing a school district employee's or student's freedom to move. Involves verbal intimidation. Involves intentionally hurting someone's reputation or relationships, telling others to not be friends with, spreading rumors about, or embarrassing someone in public. Or is done for the purpose of placing a school district employee or student in fear of harm to their person or property. This conduct constitutes bullying regardless of whether the person against whom the conduct is committed directed, consented to, or acquiesced in the conduct. Hazing. Hazing means intentionally or knowingly committing an act that endangers the physical health or safety of a school district employee or student, involves physically obstructing a school district employee's or student's freedom to move, and is done for the purpose of initiation or admission into, affiliation with, holding office in, or as a condition for membership or acceptance or continued membership or acceptance in any school or school-sponsored team, organization, program, or event. Or if the person committing the act against a school district employee or student knew that the school district employee or student is a member of or candidate for membership with a school or school-sponsored team, organization, program, or event to which the person committing the act belongs to or participates in. Be advised this conduct constitutes hazing regardless of whether the person against whom the conduct is committed directed, consented to, or acquiesced in the conduct. Cyberbullying. Cyberbullying means the use of any form of information technology to deliberately harass, threaten, or intimidate someone for the purpose of placing a school district employee or student in fear of harm to their person or property. Retaliate. Retaliate means an act or communication intended as retribution against a person for reporting bullying or hazing, or to improperly influence the investigation of or the response to a report of bullying or hazing. School district employee. School district employee means teachers, staff, administrators, and all others employed or authorized as volunteers, directly or indirectly by the school district. No school district employee or student may engage in bullying or cyberbullying a school district employee or student on school property, at a school-related or sponsored event, on a school bus, at a school bus stop, or while the school district employee or student is traveling to or from a location or event described above. Each school has an established handbook that contains procedures on how to report, investigate, and respond to allegations of bullying, hazing, and retaliation. Each reported violation of this policy shall be promptly investigated by a school administrator or an individual designated by a school administrator. The district will act on student misconduct or violations of this policy following District Policy 2110. The district will act on employee misconduct or violations of this policy following District Policy 1450. The district will consider additional reasonable remedial actions, such as the completion of a threat assessment or requiring the perpetrator to participate in beneficial remedial programs. Questions regarding Policy 3510 may be directed to Michael Lee in the Human Resources Department.